Program a 10-inch long robotic arm to pick up an object at point C and rotate it through an angle of 150 degrees in order to release it into a container at point D. So here's the container. It's just going to release it right here. Now find the position of the object at point D relative to the pivot point O. That means we want to find the x and y value here. So there's two ways we can do this. One is we can use the standard angle they gave us, 150 degrees. But the way I'm going to recommend here, not that it's that much work either way, but just to tie all this together, is to find the reference angle. So you know this ball would fall straight this way. And so if this is 150 degrees, and over here is 180 degrees at pi, how many are located here? Well, the answer has to be 30 degrees. So if you wanted to find those values, you would know that sine of 150 is going to equal the y value divided by the h value. Now we know what h is. H is the length of this arm, which it says here is 10 inches. So h equals 10 inches. So I'm going to come back over here and replace this with 10. Now you wouldn't have to use sine of 150. If you wanted to, you could use sine of 30. And that would give you the y over 10 inches as well. The only thing is, because you'd have to think through the quadrants, this is all students. So this will give you a positive answer, which this would also give you positive. So both of them will give you positive. Either way, this will work perfect. All we would do to get this by itself is you'd multiply by 10 inches. When I do that, that would cross out. So both sides get multiplied by 10 inches. And you could do the same over here if you wanted to solve that one. So let's go 10 times sine of 150. So from here, I type in 10 sine of 150, and I'll hit the degree symbol here. I'm sorry, I don't know what just happened to me. Let's go over here. All right, 10 sine of 150, and I type degrees in, and I press enter, and it gives me that value of 5. And what I was saying earlier is the reference angle will give us the exact same answer if I type in 30, because this first quadrant and the second quadrant are both positive, so it still gives me 5. This is kind of the definition of a periodic function, something that repeats or circular. It just keeps repeating its values. You see how it got the same values even though they're different angles. So the answer is 5 here. When we solve that, 10 inches times sine of 150 degrees equal the y. The answer was y equals 5 inches. So this right here has to have a height of 5 inches. That's what we just solved. Now if I wanted to know the x value, I could, one, do the Pythagorean theorem, or I could use cosine. So if I wanted to find the I could say that 10 inches, well, let me write it the whole way. Cosine of 150 degrees would equal x over my h. And remember, again, h is 10 inches in this case. You would do the one step, and you would say that 10 inches times cosine of 150 should give you my answer. Now what would be different this time is if you use 30. This is in the second quadrant, so sine is positive, but cosine is negative. So we should get a negative answer here. Go to my calculator. 10 cos of 150. I'll type in the degree symbol. And we get negative 8.66. Which is negative 8.66 inches. Now, if I typed in the same thing, but change it to 30 degrees, it'll give me positive, because again, second quadrant is positive. If I type in 30, that's a first quadrant value. Everything's positive there. So you see how the numbers are the same, it's just the negative is switched. So you got to keep track of that, which quadrant you're in. So what does that do for me? Well, what we wanted to find from the start was the exact location of that ball, and we found the x value is negative 8.66. The y value is 5. And so I'm going to just put it in this form here. That would be what you're looking for there. That's the location of that ball. Here's one for you to try. See what you can come up with for an answer.